Can I just say that? Can I? God dang it. Oh. Whew. I am a professional YouTube creator. Oh. Wow. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and Merry Christmas. Welcome to the last of the Power Rangers Beast Morphers Season 1 reviews, the recap. Yes, I decided that a full season worth of episodes, even just 22, was something that was worth taking a look back on. I'm going to recap the plot, go over each of the major characters, and of course, do that fun scoring math. Let's get to it. Okay, a season recap video is by definition going to be pretty long, so I'm going to try to sum up the plot of the first season as quickly as I can, just hitting the big major moments. Power Rangers Beast Morphers starts with the city of Coral Harbor, specifically a private military corporation called Grid Battle Force, ready to channel the energy of the Power Rangers Morphin Grid into clean, renewable energy for the city. A young tech genius named Nate discovered how to tap into the grid's energy by turning it into green goo somehow called MorphX. However, there are some who have concerns about accessing the grid for power, chief among them being the city's mayor, Adam Daniels. Grid Battle Force's stalwart Commander Shaw, who, unlike the mayor, does not have a credited first name, assures him that they are preparing for the danger by making a team of Power Rangers, the Beast Morphers. 3 teenagers were selected to become the Power Rangers, the commander's son, Ravi Shaw, along with 2 characters who don't get last names, Blaze and Roxy. Roxy and Ravi are in love, but Ravi won't commit to a relationship because of Grid Battle Force's rules against it. Blaze is an arrogant musclehead, as we see when he confronts a slacking karate student, the mayor's son, Devin Daniels. Devin is an avid gamer and sneaks into Grid Battle Force to try out their famed battle simulator, just as a snake virus, Evox, makes its way into the company's computers and hijacks the morphing sequence, creating evil avatars and rangers out of Blaze and Roxy, who fall into comas. Devin and a laundry girl that the mayor had met earlier, Zoe Reeves, bravely run in to help. After fighting the 2 for a while, Nate activates the MorphX sequencer, turning Devin, Zoe, and Ravi, who is still there, into the Power Rangers. They hold the bad guys back, and eventually Nate transports the 2 evil Rangers, as well as the computer containing Evox, to the cyber dimension, where they just so happen to meet a robot named Scrozzle, who has an army of robotic grunts called Tronics, as well as a litany of giant robots called Gigadrones. They start working together for Evox, realizing that they can inject a bit of his virus into basically anything and create robotic monsters called Robotrons. The Robotrons can then transmit data back to Scrozzle, who can use that data to modify the Gigadrones as he sees fit. The Rangers learn about their resources, each one being paired with a Beast Bot, an animal-themed robot. Devin gets the forgetful motorcycle robot Cruz, Zoe gets the New York cabbie bunny Jax, and Ravi gets the lovably huggable gorilla Smash. The Beast Bots help the Rangers pilot their Zords, which each have at least 2 modes. The Rabbit Chopper Zord and the Gorilla Wheeler Zord. Devin's having 3 modes, the Cheetah Racer Zord, which can also assume a humanoid battle mode, which serves as the base for the Beast X Megazord. Sometime later, Scrozzle manages to build a cyber gate in an abandoned warehouse in Coral Harbor, which will allow Evox to escape the cyber dimension. However, being a computer virus, Evox needs hardware to infect. So, Blaze and Roxy kidnap Nate and force him to build a robot body to house Evox. But at the last minute, Nate sabotages the process, jerry-rigging the gate into a makeshift Morphex sequencer, using that and some Mantis DNA he had gotten earlier to become the Gold Ranger. However, there was an unexpected side effect. The robotic body laying nearby was merged with both Nate's DNA and some scarab beetle DNA that Nate had also gathered. The robotic body, having both human and animal DNA now, makes it able to morph, and that becomes the Silver Ranger. The two of them defeat a Robotron, and the robot takes on the name Steel. Nate and Steel, the brother that Nate always wanted, of course get Zords of their own. Steel's double transforming Scarab Jet Zord and Nate's triple transforming Mantis Wrecker Zord with battle mode, and the two can combine to form the Striker Megazord. They also get different morphers, phones that can turn into blasters. The season really ends on something of a 7-episode arc. Blaze locates Fury Cells, powerful crystals that Scrozzle had hidden. They use one to power up a Robotron, but when Blaze loses one to the Rangers, Nate is able to develop a battleizer for Devin using it called Red Fury Mode. However, Fury Mode has a negative side effect, changing Devin's personality and making him more battle-hungry and aggressive. He eventually overcomes this, destroying the last Fury Cell. However, using the Fury Cells had another impact on the story, attracting the attention of Scrozzle's general-turned-nemesis, Vargoyle. Scrozzle created Vargoyle, but then Vargoyle used the Fury Cells and had his programming perverted by them, turning on Scrozzle, who fled. Vargoyle bows to superior strength when introduced to Evox. After completing a successful mission for Evox, Evox in turn betrays his minions, giving Vargoyle an upgrade based on the Ranger's beast powers that Blaze and Roxy had been working for several episodes to help create. Vargoyle just keeps endearing himself to Blaze and Roxy, stealing their plan to create a memory pulsator, though funny enough, he does keep them as part of the plan. The memory pulsator erases the memory of Evox from everyone in Coral Harbor, replacing it with a memory where Blaze and Roxy successfully became Power Rangers. This allows the two of them to enter Grid Battle Force easily, and with the Rangers' unwitting help, steal 3 Mega Transporters. However, turnabout is fair play, and Blaze and Roxy betray Vargoyle, withholding a Morphex refresh from him at a key moment in his battle with Devin, who destroys him. This may have been Evox's plan all along, as Roxy acted on a second portion of the plan that Vargoyle didn't allude to, and Evox mentions something to Roxy about their plan having succeeded later on, destroying her human self-stasis pod, presumably to destabilize Ravi's emotional state at a key moment. If that was the plan, it does work as intended. The Rangers recover the Mega Transporters, but when Roxy runs in front of Ravi, he cannot help but disobey his mother's orders to take them directly back to Grid Battle Force, instead getting out of the van and chasing her down to fight her and ruthlessly destroy her. Blaze takes the transporters back while this is going on, and they manage to successfully steal an entire Morphex tower, and Devin is kidnapped in the process. They use all that MorphX to power a robotic body that Scrozzle constructed after studying diagrams that Nate left behind. After Mayor Daniels charges into the cyber dimension with a beacon, the Rangers head there in their brand new Beast X Ultrazord, destroying an army of Gigadrones before Evox destroys all but the Cheetah Racer Zord. As Evox grows and begins transporting himself to Earth, Devin goes to destroy the tower, first having to deal with Blaze's avatar in an evil Zord. Devin blows up the tower, the resulting blast destroying Evox. The Rangers think their battle is over, but at a medal ceremony celebrating their accomplishments, we see that Mayor Daniels has been infected by some kind of purple data energy. Very strikingly similar to what we saw Evox evaporate into. Alrighty, let's move on to the characters. I tried to limit myself to about 1 minute or less for each character, but I will admit that towards the back half of this script, I kind of stopped paying attention to that. I will try to keep this as short as I can, just doing a quick summary of the character and then naming a high point and a low point. And where else to start but with the Red Ranger, Devin. Devin is a lot like Jack from SPD, starting off as a bit of a slacker and someone who really didn't choose this path in life. From the start, he's at odds with his dad, who wants him to be more motivated and to work harder, while he just wants to play video games and do karate. But over time, Devin grows into his role as leader of the team, fighting bravely and protecting his teammates. Devin's high point is the one-on-one Zord fight he has with Blaze in the last story episode Evox Upgraded. I just thought it brought his character full circle from the fight the two of them had in the Riptide Gym in the very first episode, Beast Unleashed, even reversing their two lines about who was going to get hurt. Devin's low point is the Fury Cell arc because while I thought stopping the robber was a poor example of him supposedly losing control, he gets a little too immature over it before realizing what's going on, and is only fully freed from the control of the Fury Cells thanks to a convenient gap between using them. Zoe Reeves is the Yellow Ranger, and her entire arc is centered around her motivation and desire to solve big problems. We learn that she is a Ranger washout, a la Boom from SPD, who took a job in Grid Battle Force's laundry room to stick with the organization and try to work her way back to being a Ranger. In fact, my favorite character note about Zoe is a very subtle, almost throwaway line tossed into an episode where she notes that she washed out of the Ranger program because she had to work a normal job while training to be a Ranger. Zoe's high point is basically the entirety of the episode Ranger Reveal, where she has to find a way to keep her mother, Coral Harbor TV reporter Muriel Reeves, from revealing the Rangers' identities without Grid Battle Force just coming and storming the station. Zoe's low point is Sound and Fury, because she expresses that she has feelings for Nate, and those feelings are mutual, but while Nate's feelings had been established in several previous episodes, Zoe's feelings come up entirely in that episode. Ravi Shaw is the Blue Ranger, and as I mentioned, Commander Shaw's son. They don't actually do a ton with that, a little bit here and there, but most of Ravi's focus is actually centered on either his relationship with Roxy or just generally being a stickler for the rules. While his best single moment is absolutely just straight up capping Roxy in order to save the woman he loves, in general, I will give it to the episode Tuba Triumph, where he takes a young musician under his wing, he himself secretly an artist, despite his mother's objections to hobbies versus duty. Ravi's lowest point is easily the episode Thrills and Drills. Ravi's fear of the dentist is something that's meant to soften his character, but it just seems entirely out of place, and most of the focus on the dentist office itself is meant for comic relief. Nate Silva is the Gold Ranger, seemingly more by twist of fate than actual intention. Nate has worked for Grid Battle Force since he was very young, a fact that caused Nate to give a shadowy look in the first episode that implies something darker there that we might learn about next season. He developed basically everything Grid Battle Force uses: the MorphX, the Rangers, the weapons, the Zords. Nate really doesn't have any family, with his parents overseas and being an only child. Early on, the Rangers sort of grow into being his family, but then he gets real family in his brother, the robot Steel by bonded DNA. Nate doesn't exactly have what I would call an arc. Most of his focus is centered on his relationship with Steel once he's introduced. Inversely to Zoe, Nate's high point is Sound and Fury, both in developing Red Fury mode and how he deals with the blackmailer, Megan. I'd say Nate's low point is actually the story finale Evox Upgraded. Nate develops the Beast X Ultrazord, but it's done entirely off screen, and he just remembers it at a convenient moment. He does stop Evox's teleportation, but overall he's not really given much to do. And that brings us to Steel, perhaps the single most entertaining character of the first season. It's unclear where Steel gets his personality from. You'd assume that Nate programmed it in, but Nate often seems surprised by the way Steel reacts to things. Anyway, that personality is bombastic and confident, but also sweet and jovial. Steel embraces and worships his brother and has a Data-like desire to become more human, just like his brother. Steel's high point is easily the episode after his introduction and the show's return from hiatus, Silver Sacrifice, where he nobly agrees to sacrifice himself to Blaze and Roxy to become Evox's body to secure the release of the General's children who are being held hostage. He proves his value to the team and has a great line stating his confidence in the Rangers, saying that he knows that they can defeat Evox even in his body. Steel's low point is one that I relate somewhat half-heartedly, but I have to say it's the episode Rewriting History. Yes, he was the key to saving the city, the only one who remembered how things had actually gone down, but his arc in the episode involves wanting a dog and then reacting just a little too strongly over a pet plant that Vargoyle destroys out of spite. It was cute, yes, we stand Spot and all that stuff. It was just a touch too goofy for me. That switches us over to the villains, and we start off with one of Beast Morphers' few major weak points, main villain Evox. Evox is a boring villain. He literally can't move, but unlike Venjix, he's also not very intimidating. There's no real sign of escalation in his plans. Actually, I take that back. There's no real sign of him planning at all. Usually plans are just pitched to him, and he just goes, "Okay, do it, and don't fail, or otherwise I will scowl at you and do nothing." Evox's high point is Evox Upgraded, right there at the end, episode that has his name in the title, getting his new robot body and easily destroying the Rangers' Ultrazord. If he didn't catch dumb villain disease, he would have killed the Rangers and won easily. His low point is most of the rest of the season because Evox is a bottom 5 villain for me, seriously. Beast Morphers made the interesting creative step of adding an original villain, a general named Scrozzle. Scrozzle is the evil alpha of the situation, having already created Tronics and Gigadrones to protect himself against Vargoyle. He sends Gigadrones when needed, and the few times that he acted on his own, he usually succeeded. Scrozzle doesn't have what I would call one specific high point. It's really just all the times that he would snark with Blaze and Roxy. They had a sort of charming hatred between them, if that makes any sense. Heck, he got pretty buddy-buddy with Roxy at one point, so that relationship was actually somewhat changeable. Scrozzle's low point is unfortunately the episode that bears his name, Scrozzle's Revenge. His plan just felt half-cocked and not thought out, and it was themed to Christmas just because the holiday clip show said it had to be. That brings us to Ranger candidates turned evil avatars, Blaze and Roxy. We'll start with Blaze, the evil Red Ranger, and better one if you believe the terrible voice in the Morpher toy. We get a great look at Blaze's character right from the word go when he responds to Devon's disrespect and desire for more challenging karate, basically by trying to kill him. From the start, Blaze was not a good person, and that is something I want explored in Season 2. Blaze's high point is the episode Sound and Fury, finding Scrozzle's Fury cells and using one to power up a recreated Tubatron. That may not have been very creative, but Tubatron 2.0 beat the Rangers around. Sure, Blaze lost one of the Fury cells to the Rangers in the same episode, which made Fury mode possible, but I mean, hey, the episode itself lost count of how many Fury cells there were in the first place, so Blaze can hardly be blamed for that. Blaze's low point actually comes very early in the season, the second episode, Evox's Revenge, his first fight with Devon as an Avatar Ranger. Blaze is morphed, Devon is not, but Devon wins. Overall, Blaze just seemed to fade very quickly as Roxy just dominated the screen and got a lot more of the focus as the season went on. Speaking of the evil Yellow Ranger, let's talk about Roxy, who is, bar none, my favorite character of this season. Roxy is just so deliciously evil. She knows that her image holds Robbie's heart, and she used that to nearly pull off a plan. She was fierce, cunning, devious, and had fun being evil. I loved almost every second that she was on screen. Her high point is actually what I just mentioned, digital deception. She knows that it's Valentine's Day and Robbie is going to be thinking about her and uses that to put a plan into motion where she pretends to still be good, convincing Robbie to take a device that nearly lets her make him into the evil blue avatar and is later used in the Cybergate. Roxy's low point is probably her destruction, and that really doesn't take anything away from her. She's just reached the end of her usefulness to the plot and ends up in a supposed-to-lose fight against an overheated and over-emotional Robbie. She faces her end looking at her hands, screaming and wondering where it went wrong. Vargoyle is a late addition to and early subtraction from this season. As mentioned in the plot recap, Scrozzle created Vargoyle to be a general for him, but Vargoyle used the Fury Cells and got power hungry, turning on Scrozzle, who fled. Vargoyle searched for Scrozzle, but was only able to find him when the Fury Cells were used again. Vargoyle made a great counterpoint to Steel, the same confidence and braggadocious attitude, but none of the charm and kindness. Vargoyle was brash and did not care what anybody thought. When he stole Blaze and Roxy's plan and the two confronted Scrozzle, who denied it, Vargoyle admitted to it straight out. Vargoyle's high point is probably his first fight with the Rangers. He toys with them, pretending to be weak and ineffective, as the team thins itself out to go deal with other problems. When it's down to just Steel, he drops the cloak and the pretense and just tears him up, needing Nate to come and rescue him. Vargoyle's low point is his destruction by Devon. Not the fight with Devon, that is the best fight of this season, I think. It's an excellent Matrix-like battle across the floors and the walls and the ceilings and everything. But it just has some issues. The Beast Power upgrade is apparently able to run single powers when it's low on Morph X, and despite fighting off the entire team multiple times, Vargoyle is destroyed by a single Ranger. Part of what makes Beast Morphers such a quality season is good, well-written side characters, so I want to focus on some of those as well. Sadly, I can't talk very much about Pretty Girl McWhat's-Her-Face, seeing as we don't even learn her name this season. Seriously, Hasbro, Season 2, I want her to get a focus episode. We start with Commander What's-Her-Name Shaw, leader, if not mentor, of the Beast Morphers team. Commander Shaw is duty personified, dedicated to her mission to keep Coral Harbor safe. The moment she breaks from that, like when she tells Robbie that she's sorry when they thought Roxy was dead, become a little more poignant knowing that. Her high point was Sound and Fury, dealing with Megan. Finding out that Megan blackmailed a Ranger just to try and get a better job nearly makes her call the woman a 5-letter word that starts with B and rhymes with Twitch before catching herself and kicking Megan out. Commander Shaw's low point is easily Tuba Triumph, when she is so cold and heartless about duty above everything. She lets Robbie give away her father's beloved tuba and doesn't even care, just as long as Robbie doesn't start playing it. First a mom, now a dad. Adam Daniels is the mayor of Coral Harbor, though we really see more of him as a dad than as a leader. That we get in the very first episode when he expresses his concerns about tapping the grid and hanging a huge "We're open" sign on the city for all of the villains that would want the Rangers' power. Daniel's high point is Evox upgraded when he realizes that the Rangers need someone to take a beacon to the cyber dimension, but can't risk it being any of them, so he grabs it and runs into the cyber dimension to go after his son. Though I will give a very close second to Target Tower when he grabs a shovel and starts attacking Tronics to protect one of the mega transporters. I'd say the mayor's lowest point is taking care of business. He gets so concerned with Devin getting into the workforce that he basically arranges a job for him at a car wash, then gets super disappointed at him when he loses that job. It's a car wash job, it's not a career. Besides, if you arrange that job for him, you can just arrange him another. Why not just hire him to work for your office? Muriel Reeves is the face of Coral Harbor, and literally the first face we see on screen, a TV reporter and news anchor that also happens to be Zoe's mom. Geez, Devin's dad, Zoe's mom, Robbie's mom. While Nate and Steele are technically brothers, Nate is also technically kind of Steele's dad. You just got parents all over this story. Muriel is a dedicated professional journalist, and sadly, that's all we ever really find out about her. Every time we see her, it's just focused on her being a reporter. I'd really like to see a more human, at-home side of Muriel next season. Her high point is the episode End of the Road, when she does a story about Zoe's X-Bikes and the Rangers using them to chase Blaze, which makes the bikes go viral and wins the city's support for them. Her low point is the episode Ranger Reveal, when she spends basically the entire episode thinking only of herself and her career when she gets access to the Rangers' identities, needing her daughter to very subtly remind her about the downsides of fame. I do still like that that episode was more or less a side character focus episode, though. Okay, I think that covers all the characters that are worth talking about, so let's crack open those books and... Okay, no... We have to discuss them. Yes, I didn't forget about them as much as I wanted to, and while I'd like to just brush past them, we really should discuss them. I am, of course, talking about Ben and Betty Burke, our comic relief duo of the season. Ben and Betty are the children of General Burke, a leading Grid Battle Force officer, and basically use the organization as their own private daycare center, getting to do whatever jobs they want. While they do get a few high points here and there and are generally pretty charming and kind of lovable, they only really exist to be the brunt of physical comedy jokes, falling off a Zord into bubbles here, zapped by a buzzer there. The Rangers' moment of triumph at the end of the season is nearly ruined by a bubble-suited Betty flying around the room. Say bubble-suited Betty 5 times fast. Bubble-suited Betty, bubble-suited Betty, bubble-suited Betty, nope. The two's high point is Evox's revenge, where they accompany the Rangers on a mission to stop Blaze and bravely defend Devin when he freezes up after seeing a dog. Actually, let me address that really quickly because I forgot to include it in the recap. Each of the 3 primary Rangers have a flaw due to being exposed to a slight amount of Evox's leftover virus in the Morphex sequencer. Devin freezes up whenever he sees dogs, Ravi loses control when he overheats, and Zoe finds it difficult to move when she runs out of energy. Can I just say that Ben and Betty's low point is the entire rest of the season? Come on, I did it for Evox. Fine, if you want a specific low point for the two, I'll say their entire presence in Evox upgraded. At least I'll narrow it down to an episode. Betty's random stretchiness and the aforementioned flying around the room, ruining the seriousness of the Rangers' medal ceremony. Okay, now we can crack open the books and take a look at these numbers. When gathering the scores for Beast Morphers, it struck me just how much better this season has been than the one that came before it. Not that that was a very high hurdle to cross. As a reminder, no episode of Ninja Steel either season managed to get a 5 out of 5, and only 2 even managed a 4 for Super Ninja Steel. Beast Morphers, 3 episodes scored perfect 5s, and 16 scored 4 or higher. Only 2 episodes landed below a 3. Obviously, the 3 episodes that scored 5s were the best episodes of the season, but I have a tendency to dismiss first and last episodes and specials, so Beast Unleashed will sit aside, and I'm gonna eliminate Target Tower since it's kind of part of the finale arc. That to me means that the best episode of Beast Morphers was the 5th episode, Taking Care of Business. Yes, I said Mayor Daniel's low point was freaking out so much over Devin losing the car wash gig, but it was just such a nice look at the good and bad of their relationship. Add in the fact that the bad guys scored a huge MorphX haul, and this just made a great superhero story. The low point sticks out like a sore thumb. Only 2 episodes below a 3, but only 1 below a 2. Yes, it's the Christmas clip show Scrozzle's Revenge, a terrible clip show where the characters remind each other of things they already know, and the normally cunning Scrozzle just does a Christmas plan out of nowhere and gets destroyed anticlimactically. The 22 episodes of Beast Morphers average out to a sterling 3.93 out of 5, a solid high B and nearly an A. I do feel the need to point out that removing Scrozzle's Revenge does push it into the A rating just over a 4. However, that is an episode that was put out, it counts, so this is where it sits. Still an amazingly high score that dwarfs Super Ninja Steel's 2.18 out of 5. Beast Morphers was nearly 2 shades per episode better than Super Ninja Steel. Beast Morphers got 78% of the available shades, which actually makes it seem worse than it was, but remember that Super Ninja Steel only got 43% of its available stars. So, what have these 8 pages and nearly 4,000 words led me to conclude about the first season of Power Rangers Beast Morphers? It was good. Really good.
Yeah, we've been stirring that pot for 70 years. Thanks for contributing.
Beast Morphers is an excellently written season with strong, well-established characters who have understandable and believable motivations. There's depth and complexity there. It is not a perfect season. Ben and Betty are the biggest downfalls, and really the show's writing fails them, since the two are charming and likable enough characters, but their constant physical comedy is just maddening. But also, Evox is a boring and ineffectual main villain, and really the show could have gotten by well enough without him. Have Scrozzle be the main villain, and Blaze and Roxy just caused by some kind of computer glitch. In the end, this season is incredibly entertaining, easily top 10 and maybe top 5. But I'm not ranking it just yet, so for now I'm just going to say very, very good, and I cannot wait to see more. Well, I've already previewed the next episode of Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters for the episode review, so that is going to wrap up the Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode reviews. Thank you, heroes, so much for watching this season and leaving comments and likes and being supportive and all that. As always, I greatly appreciate that. Down in the comments below, what did you think of this season? Who was your favorite character, least favorite character, favorite episode? Talk about all of that down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all of my videos and ring the bell. Get your notifications set up so you're notified when I start releasing Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills episode reviews. And if you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, it is the time for Christmas gifts after all, consider becoming one of my patrons. Head over to patreon.com/orangerangervideos where you can see the various tiers of support, and I greatly appreciate that. You get some stuff back for it, etc., etc. However, if you can't do the monthly thing, which I completely understand, head on over to ko-fi.com/orangerangervideos and consider buying me a coffee. This is a big cup with water in it, but still. Water is good for the throat when you've done a long season recap video. Coffees are set at $3, and I greatly appreciate any financial support I find at either of those sites. But if you can't do support at all, which I totally understand, again, especially during the holiday season, just share my videos, let people know about my channel. The best way for my channel to grow is just telling other people about it so they watch and subscribe and etc., etc., etc. To all of you watching, I hope you have the happiest and healthiest and just most wonderful of holiday seasons from the Orange Ranger. Until next time, May the power protect you. Yeah, I decided that even 22 episodes worth of Blaze and Roxy, who fall into comas. My phone started going delete, as the robotic body that was laying nearby was merged with Moth. He gets a bit too immature about it, and he gets a bit too mature. Anyway, that personality is bombastic and jovial, but also, I have to say the episode over a plant that Vargoyle destroys out of spite. Beast Morphers made the creatively interesting step of adding an original general. Blaze's high point is finding Scrozzle's Fury Cells and Yes, he did lose one of the Fury Cells to the Rangers in that episode. Was that too? No, that was Yes, that wasn't This is what happens when you ad-lib. When she is so cold and heartless about Data. When she is so cold and heartless above and Zoe loses energy when she just gets tired and she can find it hard to define. Each of the three main first Rangers have. Yes, I said Mayor Daniel's low point was freaking out over how Beast Morphers 78% of the available shades, which makes it seem oh wow.